And the Grammy goes to the American Project, JoAnn, Teddy Abrams.
Thank you all so much.
If you are a music lover, you will be excited as we are to welcome our next guest. He is Maestro Teddy Abrams, music director of the Louisville Orchestra, and at just 36 years old, he's now into his 10th season leading that orchestra. He is a pianist, a clarinetist, and composer, and of great interest here in Buffalo. He's a protege of former BPO conductor Michael Tilson Thomas, a friend of JoAnn Falletta, and he is conducting his first concerts with the BPO this weekend. We welcome you, Maestro. It turns out it's not your first visit to Buffalo. You've been here before.
I have been here before, yes. My brother lived here for a while, and I came to visit a number of times, but my first time with the BPO, which is very, very special.
Your impressions of Buffalo so far, the snow notwithstanding.
Oh, I love it. It's a beautiful city. It's a historic city. Of course, not only is the BPO one of the great orchestras of this country, but they play in a very, very special concert hall with tremendous acoustics. So it's a great pleasure to be here and to make music for this community.
Yeah, and you know, it struck me in reading about you that you feel very much the same that JoAnn Falletta does, that music should reach all people, and there is something in music for everyone.
That's exactly right. I think that there's a deep connection between orchestras and their communities. It's not just about the orchestra as an institution on its own. It's about the relationship they have with the people for whom they're making this music. And that means all of the people in their town, their community, and by extension, the whole region. So I think that JoAnn and I are very much on the same page about those values, and that makes it all the more special to be in a place like this where we're totally aligned.
Just days ago, you won your first Grammy. It was a collaboration with pianist JoAnn, the Louisville Orchestra, and Michael Tilson Thomas again. Describe that whole experience for us.
Well, it was definitely a harrowing one right up until the moment when they actually announced who won, because of course you're just sitting there trying not to think about what's happening because you have a long way to go. I think we were 3 hours or something into the ceremony, just waiting category after category. But it's a great honor. You know, the Louisville Orchestra has a tremendous history of recording music by living composers, and the fact that the album that won is a recording of living composers. I wrote a piano concerto that's on it, and Michael Tilson Thomas wrote a solo piano piece that's on it too. Makes it, I think, a really important statement about the value of playing the music of people who are alive right now.
Classical music in this day. Let's talk about the program this weekend then. Half the program is Michael Tilson Thomas's From the Diary of Anne Frank. Rabbi Cantor Penny Myers is narrator for the event. The other half of the program will be familiar to many people, and that's Dvorak's New World Symphony.
Yes.
You enjoy this music for different reasons.
Well, it is a very American program, and you might think, well, Dvorak, Symphony No. 9, how is that American? Isn't he a Czech composer? It's true, but Dvorak came to America, and he actually taught at something called the National Conservatory. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a great music school in New York, and he spent some time traveling America to figure out what this country was all about and to hear the music of the people. And he, in fact, wrote this Ninth Symphony in Iowa, of all places, and it was a demonstration of what American music might be if you listen to the sounds of our country. So even though Dvorak is a great European composer, this was a gift to Americans as an example for what American music might look like if we listened to the music of our people for inspiration. Then you take somebody like Michael Tilson Thomas, who is a protege of Leonard Bernstein, who comes from the great tradition of Irving Berlin and the Tomaszewskis, his own grandparents, and George Gershwin and Aaron Copland. These are all people who brought the music of America to the concert hall, and MTT does the exact same thing. That's what we all call them, MTT. And this piece of music that we're playing on the program uses the words of Anne Frank, or Anne Frank, the very famous diary that she wrote, as the inspiration for his music, which does certainly sound American in some ways, but is music of the world. It's music that evokes her powerful words in a way that needs to be heard at this very moment. It's such an important message.
I think it's important, so important for the orchestra audience to hear the background, just as you've described it now, to know really what they're hearing. Before we close, I do want to ask you one other thing, and that is, you started playing the clarinet in the school band. We have a lot of parents watching, and they may be on the fence about whether or not they should start their child playing an instrument in school if they have the opportunity. What would you say to them?
Well, every kid should have the opportunity to make music, but I would say they should have the opportunity to make music the way they want to. Start them in band, in orchestra, piano lessons, whatever it is, but let kids play the music that inspires them. Let them compose and improvise, or if there's a favorite song that they love listening to, then play that song. Write their own music, find inspiration in music the way that they want to, so that music is an act of love. It's an act of expression and creativity. You got to have the fundamentals and the technique down, but you also have to have the passion. And if kids can find their passion through music, then that's going to be a lifelong love. They'll always have it. And they'll eventually make up the audiences of the future.
You hear the passion for him. You hear the passion for music. I hope that you can attend his concerts this weekend. There are tickets still available on Saturday and Sunday matinee. Just call the BPO box office or bpo.org. This is a tremendous opportunity for us here in Buffalo to hear this gentleman on the podium. So thank you so much, Teddy Abrams, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be in Buffalo.
Yeah, have a great time in Buffalo this weekend. I think, Todd, the weather is going to get better for him. What do you think?